hi, welcome. Thanks for joining us today. Please tell everyone who you are and where you work.
So I'm Jonathan Copeland with Connection IT. I work as a senior solution architect out of the San Antonio area. I travel all over the country, helping to work with data center and end user computing.
So what does Connections do?
So Connection is a national solution provider. So we sell IGEL. We're a major player in the market, so we help customers connect to technology. We not only sell them the product, but we actually end up doing where we can implement. We can help them find solutions that they need, develop their own IT organization, and at times we actually fill in and help them become that IT organization. So we can fill in and do backfill for them. And help them find the technology and the professionals for that. But at this other points, we will implement for them too. For instance, last year, or actually earlier this year at the IGEL Disrupt in Austin, I went there and then came back and I got certified as an IGEL certified engineer, an ICE.
That's fantastic. So what kind of clients do you work with?
All the way through. So this week I've actually been at a very small company, but does millions upon millions of chair sales, high-end professional chairs for your office and your organization. But they're still a small company with only a few hundred employees, all the way to large organizations where I was at another organization that had several thousand employees. So we go really the full gamut from small and medium-sized business all the way through enterprise, and including the government fed SLED space. So we handle pretty much soup to nuts within the U.S.
Wow, fantastic. So where's the space that EUC IGEL fitting? Where's their strength? And how does that fit with what you do?
So for us, IGEL matches up very well with our end user computing team. We've got a good end user computing team. We've tied in deeply here at the VMworld conference. I think we've got more than 45 employees here. So we've got a large presence because we're the fourth largest VMware reseller in the US. We're a large Citrix reseller. We're also fourth largest LAR for Microsoft. So we have a good presence, but we fit this into our end user computing space to help our customers when they need those managed desktops tied in with their VDI, both for Citrix and for VMware. It makes a really compelling story for them to be able to manage that and do the solution all the way through.
What's the unique strength of IGEL in that space?
I think the ability to configure it, push the patches, to make sure that all of that is handled there from a centralized point and even up into the cloud where you have the cloud management capabilities there. So it really does help solve that problem. So if, I know when in the past when I've been a engineer and architect that I've been doing the work, I get calls at all times of the hour. But if I don't have access and I can't get into my resources because of the VPN being down or other things, I really am going to have a problem. So if I actually do this right and I put it in the cloud, I can access it from anywhere. Even if I'm on vacation, if I needed to access it from the beach and I have my phone, I could fix those problems on an IGEL console.
And so flip that same ability over to the end user. The environment that I see as not someone in the industry, but who works across a lot of organizations, is that it's getting more and more complex because all your clients have legacy stuff. They've got all the mobile platforms. They've got people in remote offices, in home offices, and they're trying to make them work without everything requiring a phone call to IT or a help desk. And so one of the strengths of IGEL, as I understand it, is that they help people like you advise your clients.
Always. No matter where I am, if I've got a customer who's working towards an end user compute solution, whether or not it's a Citrix or it's a VMware or some other solution, I'm always thinking in the back of my head, how am I going to deliver this desktop, this application to the customer? Which the end user is really the customer. It's more so than even the business itself, because if they don't have a good experience, that project will fail. And I usually try to find the hardest person in the organization to please. And if I can make them happy then I know that will be a success all the way through. So having this ability with an IGEL product to be able to put it out to multiple screens, to have a fast desktop, to be able to configure it, and if I need to, if something does drastically go wrong, I can have that brought in, swapped in immediately, and they're back up and running within just a short period of time versus a traditional desktop. That is a win in my case.
And this seems to be, there was a transition where IGEL went from being what everyone knew as a hardware company, thin client company, to being software driven, which seems to be a unique position in the end user computing market. Is that right?
It definitely is. It's the ability to take a flash drive or a thumb drive for somebody, and there are crucial people, and we know that there are people like that no matter what they do for vacation, they are still really working. And so for them to be able to take that with them, to put it into a device at a hotel or at a friend's house or into a laptop or whatever, and to be able to boot to that IGEL environment and be able to get their corporate desktop securely and to be able to work on that, that is a major piece for them, because that allows them to remain productive. It actually allows you to have that ability without carrying hardware that you were afraid of having stolen or broken while you're traveling. I've traveled and had phones broken, I've had laptops broken. What do you do when that happens? If you're traveling, then you have to wait for corporate to send you something. It's very hard to break or ruin a small flash drive that's on your keychain. And so it allows you to do something that you couldn't do otherwise, because almost always you could find some sort of computer internet center somewhere.
Absolutely. So where do you see the relationship with Connection and IGEL going?
I see us actually growing, and one of the areas for me is I've been trying to help our sellers understand the relationship, actually to see when this fits versus other solutions for thin client and zero client.
So any final words? Where do you, is someone sitting here thinking, should I go with an IGEL solution or not? What do you think?
I think actually for most of the organizations that are looking at VDI or end user computing or even application delivery from something like Citrix, I think IGEL is actually a very winning and very compelling solution.
Well, thank you so much. Thanks.
You wanted to ask about the hat still, didn't you?
I asked about the hat at the beginning.
So
right?
this is funny because Jed asked me about the hat, and I told him, I said, the great thing is I can do this, and I look like every other IT guy.
Oh,
this is kind of like taking the hedgehog off of some device that IGEL sells, putting it on. It allows everybody to know who I am.
That's perfect.
So great talking with you.